Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, we'll tell you where one local school district says 200 students are out sick.
They took everything, all of our Christmas. They took our security, more than that.
A Moorhead woman is speaking out after a real-life Grinch steals her Christmas gifts. Plus, after a major settlement comes a new pipeline leak in western North Dakota. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Whether it's snow, thunder, or gusty winds, the weather is about to get wild. Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joins us straight away to break it down. Hutch?
Stacy, thanks so much, and good evening, everyone. On this Tuesday night, as we head into our Wednesday, we do have some wintry weather heading our way, and I have an update for you. If you remember last night, we said at the 10 o'clock hour there's new model data rolling in, and that's exactly the case. And it appears there could be an enhanced band of snowfall that goes along with this system and severe thunderstorm potential. When we told you about this earlier this evening, that potential is greatest in southern Minnesota, where you see the yellow area. That also includes much of Iowa. This area could also have some tornadoes. Now, just as a reference, this storm could be historic. Why? Because if we do have tornadoes tomorrow, and there is a decent probability of that in southern Minnesota, it would be the latest ever in the history of records in Minnesota. The latest tornado was November 16th. We've never had one in December. It is going to be mid-December. Take a look at this. Wednesday storms, thunderstorms aplenty start firing up as we go into the late afternoon, early evening. Heavy snow and wind developing out in the Dakotas. Now, take a look at this. This is why I think we may see that enhanced band of snow. As it makes its way through, this area here is going to be convective. We could get thunder snow. And when that happens, we can get snowfall rates that are pretty incredible. So along this area here, between the thunder showers and, of course, the snow bands, we'll see a very heavier band that could produce some locally heavy snow from southeast North Dakota into central Minnesota. Now, I have an update on exactly how much we're thinking and where that track is going to be, but things get rolling tomorrow late in the afternoon and early evening, and we'll have an update here in just a few minutes.
Thank you so much, Hutch. Yeah. We'll be ready thanks to you, and make sure you have that Valley News Live Storm Team Weather app handy. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store and you can download it for free. New for you tonight at 10, Fargo police say a threat made by a Davies High School student is not credible. Principal Troy Cody says a student made a threatening comment while riding the bus home yesterday. Today, other students told the school resource officer about it. School administrators and Fargo PD investigated. They say the threat poses no danger. Also, new for you tonight, deputies in Barnes County rescued a man on ice today who told them he'd been sleepwalking. Someone reported the man yelling for help around 8:20 this morning on Lake Ashtabula. A woman who lives with him told the sheriff he left the house more than 2 hours before that. Deputies say he was 100 yards from shore, sitting on the ice wearing a t-shirt and jeans with no shoes. He was transported by ambulance to Mercy Hospital in Valley City for non-life-threatening injuries. A real-life Grinch is putting a damper on one woman's Christmas spirit after she was robbed while out walking her dog. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor went to the Moorhead apartment to learn how the woman is now trying to make the most of the holidays.
Just yesterday, there were gifts sitting under this Christmas tree.
Our plans, everything was wiped out. Our Christmas destroyed.
Lisa Maxwell says she left her apartment for less than 10 minutes to walk her service dog. And when she got back, a real-life Grinch had snatched them all up.
My nerves are just nuts. I mean, we're being violated. They came into our home. They even took the dog's Christmas stocking.
Maxwell says her son, who's visiting from Saudi Arabia, had just walked away to use the bathroom right before the robber struck.
That scares me the most. What if he would have came out when they were here? What would have happened to him?
Isa had brought the gifts from home and can't easily replace them.
Oh, it's very unfortunate. It's been a while since I actually celebrated Christmas and been with family, so.
They also took Maxwell's wallet, but it's not the first time she has had something stolen from her.
My garage was broken 2-3 times. They stole my wheelchair ramp that I'm trying to make my van accessible. Everything I put in there to be able to get my independence back, they steal it.
Her son is now pushing for her to move.
My mother usually lives here alone, so it's kind of like concerning.
And as for the real-life Grinch, Isa has a few words.
They should really be disappointed in themselves. right around Christmas, for whatever reason they did it. It's still not, you cannot really justify it.
In Moorhead, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
Maxwell did file a police report with Moorhead PD. She says authorities were able to obtain surveillance footage of the suspect, but police say they have not been able to identify them. Today we hit a somber milestone in the fight against COVID-19, 800,000 American lives lost. It's the highest reported death toll of any country in the world. Today also marks 1 year since the first vaccines were administered here in North Dakota. Now some people have to be incentivized with cash to get the shot. Sanford Vice President Dr. Doug Griffin says many of the deaths were preventable by vaccines, which were open to all North Dakota adults by March.
Our failure to embrace it has cost people lives in our country and our community, is greatly taxing our health system across the country. I think we should be extremely disappointed as a country that we've not embraced this better.
Today, about 200 million Americans are fully vaccinated. That's roughly 60% of the population. Meanwhile, Pfizer says its experimental COVID-19 pill cuts the risk of hospitalization or death by 89%. The pills were given to nearly 700 unvaccinated people within 3 days of developing COVID symptoms. Only 5 of them had to be hospitalized and no one died. Of those who got a placebo, 44 were hospitalized and 9 died. The FDA has not yet set a date to discuss the pill's emergency use authorization. Students at East Grand Forks Senior High are transitioning back to distance learning this week, not due to COVID, but due to influenza. According to a social media post by the school, almost 200 students were absent today. The students are expected to return to in-person learning on Monday. Fargo police are asking for your help identifying the man who was seriously hurt after being hit by a car. That happened last night at the intersection of 25th Street South and 13th Avenue. Police say the driver had a green light when he hit the man that was walking across the street. Today, police released this photo of that man's tattoo and hope is that someone recognizes it. They say he appears to be 30 to 45 years old, 200 to 240 pounds and white or Native American with gray hair. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the North Dakota Highway Patrol at the number there on your screen. Tonight, Fargo police and federal authorities are still searching for a sex offender they say left a halfway house and never came back. Police say 21-year-old Christopher Morrison took off from Center Inc. in Fargo last night. Morrison is on federal probation with active warrants out of Morton County. The sex offender registry shows that he's convicted of sexually abusing a 14-year-old. He's described as 5'11", 210 pounds and Native American. If you see him, you're asked to call 911. The company responsible for the largest oil field spill in North Dakota history has reported a new pipeline leak. Summit Midstream Partners is estimating that more than 7,000 gallons of produced water spilled into agricultural land north of Williston near the Blacktail Creek. Produced water is a byproduct of oil production that has oil in it. That's located less than 2 miles from the record spill in 2015. Just days ago, the company recently agreed to pay more than $35 million for that spill. 4 days after deadly tornadoes tore through the Midwest, more than 100 people are still missing. 88 people in 5 states are confirmed dead. That number is expected to keep growing. The stories are just heartbreaking. A 9-year-old in Missouri was huddling with her family in a windowless bathroom when a twister tore through their home, killing her. And in Illinois, federal and state officials are still investigating the Amazon warehouse collapse that killed 6 workers when a tornado hit. State and local officials say it could take years for some areas to fully recover. Now, our company, Gray Television, is partnering with the Salvation Army to provide relief for those affected by the deadly tornado outbreak. You can donate directly to the Salvation Army's disaster relief efforts by texting HL Tornado to 51555. You can also donate online by going to valleynewslive.com. Still ahead tonight, outrage over a cash grab for South Dakota teachers makes national headlines.
A beautiful sunset, a lot of color tonight, and the weather since the weekend has been quite mild, but just hold on as we go through midweek, things will get a little more wild. Even more snow potential with tomorrow's system. I'll have the latest model updates in your forecast. Join me, weather's next.